Thank you, everybody. As everyone is filing in the room, I just want to thank, first of all of you, the press, to be here today. I want to thank the governor as well, Secretary Bennett, Commissioner Evans, Chief Green from the MBTA Police, Chief Willie Gross from the Boston Police, and other public safety officials behind me, as well as different department chiefs and heads. I think we have Parks and Recreation here. We have the Fire Department, Commissioner Finn here. We have Renee Fielding from Emergency Management, Gina Fandaka from Transportation. So this is certainly in Public Works as well. This has certainly been a full team effort here. So I want to thank you, everyone behind me, and thank the press. I want to start by thanking everyone in Boston, in the Boston community, who reminded us how much we have to be proud of this week. The people of Boston made it clear that we believe in tolerance, unity, and equality. It makes me proud to be mayor of this great city. Before I go any further, I'd like to just offer my prayers and condolences to the people of Barcelona on behalf of myself and the governor and the city of Boston, the Commonwealth, during this very difficult time. On Monday, the governor and I made it very clear we don't want hate groups to come to our city or our state. We will not tolerate any incitements of violence. We are taking every precaution necessary to keep our city safe. I have the utmost confidence in our public safety officials to keep us safe. They have a comprehensive plan in place, which the Secretary and the Commissioner will describe in more details in a few moments. There's been questions about why we granted a permit for the rally tomorrow. The courts have made it abundantly clear. They have the right to gather, no matter how repugnant their views are. But if we don't have the right to create an unsafe they don't have the right to create an unsafe conditions. So we're going to respect their right of free speech. In return, they must respect our city. The Boston Police Department has met with the Boston Free Speech Coalition to work on a safe pathway forward. They've agreed to specific rules for a rally on Boston Common. If anything gets out of hand, we will shut it down. We also have been in touch with the Southern Poverty Law Center. They've been guiding communities across the country on how to handle hate groups. They say that interacting with these groups just gives them a platform to spread their message of hate. They recommend that people should not confront these rallies. So we're urging everyone to stay away from the Common. At the same time, we can't look away. The children of our city are watching, and I want everyone who goes to the Common tomorrow to understand that. The young people of our city are watching TV, are following this. We have to make it clear what we stand for in the city of Boston. We have to support those who are targeted, and we have to stand together in unity. And we ask everyone to help us promote peace. Be safe. There's a chance of lightning tomorrow and thunderstorms in the morning, so we want you to watch out for that. Be smart. Do not bring backpacks, sticks, or anything that can be construed as a weapon. We will take them from you. Be aware, the Boston Common Garage, the Swan Boats, the frog ponds will all be closed due to public safety. There will also be we will not have a rally on City Hall Plaza tomorrow. I'll be spending most of my day, as I do every Saturday, out in the neighborhoods. Several of the Boston Housing Authority developments are holding a Unity Day. It's a tradition that started by public housing residents to promote peace and bring our communities together long before what's been going on in this country for the last several months. I'll be attending Ms. Mendez's 18th annual anniversary Find Your Voice in Peace Back to School barbecue. Mrs. Mendez lost 2 sons and 4 nephews to street violence. She dedicated her life to raising awareness about the needs of our country's youth. She's another powerful model of unity and peace. I'll also be going to the Henry Street Block Party. If you remember clearly, most of you in the press, Henry Street, you've been covering that, about the drug and gang houses that were on that street and how the neighborhood rose up and took that street back due to violence in our neighborhoods. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. What we won't forget are the other words we've heard from the stage throughout history when we go to that bandstand tomorrow. From that stage in 1852, Frederick Douglass gave a famous speech on the meaning of the 4th of July, which we remember every single year. From that stage in 1965, Martin Luther King spoke the words that still ring true today. This is not a battle of white people against black people, he said. It's a struggle between the forces of justice and injustice. From that stage about 10 years ago, Barack Obama was running for President of the United States of America. We began to imagine the idea of a country with its first black president. Those are the words we will remember. Those are the words we will live by. Again, I urge everyone to be on their best behavior on Saturday if you decide to come to Boston Common. We ask you to be peaceful, because tomorrow's march is in response to the hate that happened last weekend in Virginia. We don't respond hate with hate. We respond hate with peace. We want people to be civil, and we want everyone to make sure that we make Boston proud. The last thing I'd like to say to the media, we need you to help us. Don't give them the coverage that they're looking for. Instead, focus on Boston's unity. Thank you. Now I'd like to turn the microphone over to the Governor, Charlie Baker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. As many people know, for the past 6 days, in the aftermath of the events, the tragedy, and the terror in Charlottesville, the mayor and I have been discussing and planning for this coming Saturday. At the same time, our teams, our public safety folks, our transportation team, and the city's public safety, public parks, and transportation teams have been planning as well. We all share exactly the same objective with respect to tomorrow. The people have an opportunity to engage and gather peacefully, and that everybody goes home safe. But make no mistake, the state will support the city's efforts to ensure that public safety is preserved during tomorrow's events, however big or small they are, and wherever they're located. Folks have had a week to work on this. The scenario planning has been quite extensive, and both the city and the state have staging areas in place to ensure that whatever the requirement might be to ensure safety and peaceful assembly tomorrow, we'll be able to deliver. Now, Boston and Massachusetts are the home of some of the most important moments in the fight for freedom and equality in this nation's history. Tomorrow is one more chapter in that honored tradition. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that tomorrow is about liberty and justice, and about freedom and peace, and yes, the right for people to peacefully gather and assemble. But we will do all we can supporting the city's efforts to ensure that that is the message gleaned by those who participate at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thanks, Mayor Walsh and Governor Baker, and thanks to all the partners behind me, fellow law enforcement, cabinet chiefs, and obviously Chief Gross, who works very closely with me. Obviously, over the last 6 days, we've had a lot of extensive planning, getting ready for the demonstration rally tomorrow. And like the mayor says, we want everyone to get together and show that Boston is a different place, that we want unity. We will not tolerate bigotry and hatred. And us as a police agency, we'll make sure tomorrow anyone who wants to practice their free speech does that, and they do it without any violence. And let's make it clear, there'll be a zero tolerance for any violence tomorrow. We will not tolerate any misbehavior, any violence, or any vandalism whatsoever. The plan in place requires some street closures, and I want the media to put that out. Tremont Street from probably 10:30 on, from Tremont all the way to Charles South by the Common will most likely be closed. There'll be road closures on the streets adjoining that. Towing, according to Commissioner Van Daka, is going to begin on Tremont Street all the way down to the route at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Obviously, we'll have a presence up there starting tonight throughout the day tomorrow. I have the utmost confidence in our plan. We have a great department. We have great partners in the MBTA police, the state police. I've been in contact with Haynes Shaw from the FBI, and I think we're going to have a day that shows Boston isn't about hatred. We're about unity. We're not about bigotry. And I hope anyone who comes tomorrow makes that message clear. The mayor said, hatred only shows more hatred, and that's what we're against. Just be aware, there's a permit for the free speech, and we've talked to both groups about there won't be any weapons allowed. There won't be any sticks, bats, or anything that can be used to hurt. More importantly, whether it's the demonstrators or my officers, we'll also have, and we have, deployed a lot of cameras in and around the bandstand. So I want anyone who comes in to know that we'll have eyes and ears all over that place. We'll have officers undercover. We'll have officers with roaming cameras. And so we intend to police this event as discreetly as possible, not to interfere with anyone's rights, but believe me, we're not going to let anything happen tomorrow. And should it start to go a little bit airy, obviously we'll go to Plan B, and if we have to end the rally, we will do that. But, we got a great plan. We got a great department. All I ask is anyone who's coming, come for the right reason, to show that Boston is about unity, it's about love, and it's not about hatred and bigotry. So thank you all. And now I'm going to call up Chief Green from the MBTA to talk about how they're working in partnership with us to make this a safe day.
Good morning. Let me start by saying that all MBTA stations will be open with the exception of Bowdoin. Bowdoin stations usually close on the weekends anyway. The transit police are well prepared for this event. We will have a full complement of officers in the 3 districts, as well as additional officers designated to the stations in and around the event zone, Boston Commons. As the Commissioner has earlier stated, that violence, any type of violence, will not be tolerated. We ask our riders to act responsibly and be respectful to one another. If you see anything, please contact public safety officials right away. We will have officers also dedicated to the hub monitors and the public safety cameras to get a gauge of what's going on, so we can gather more intel and to get a gauge of the mood of the crowd. Again, any issues, please give us a call, 617-222-1212, and please act responsibly. Thank you.
Boston Police have put together an expert plan, the kind of plan that you'd expect out of an organization that has kept this city safe year after year after year, and put on demonstrations, put on celebrations over and over again with the entire populace being safe. It's gone on planning since this was announced. The planning has included the state police. The state police are in a backup role on many occasions. Sometimes they're working inside the plan with the Boston Police. Commissioner Evans and the Boston Police have put together this plan tirelessly into the most minute detail. I think the people of Boston and the people who are coming into Boston can be entirely confident of their safety with regards to this on Saturday. Thank you very much.
The one last thing Chief Green mentioned, if you see anything tomorrow out of the ordinary, please call 911 or grab a public safety officer. There'll be plenty around there. So if you see things are in and around the common that might concern you, anyone from the public who's watching it, either call 911 or grab a police officer. There'll be plenty of police officers in and around the Boston Common area tomorrow. Questions?
What are some of the steps that you're taking to protect the marchers? I know you had mentioned that can be difficult in terms of, because they're moving. What are some of the steps you
I think the biggest thing is the bike, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, we have probably over 100 easily bikes, pedal bikes. We have a lot of officers on foot. We have undercover officers who are going to be walking in the crowd. And again, if we see anyone with any type of projectile or weapons or sticks or bats, we'll work with that crowd basically to say we don't want them holding signs with sticks on them. So we're going to be policing the crowds on both sides. And, on the roads adjacent, obviously we'll have officers and vehicles and barriers to stop anyone from going in there. I think we all know, and again, like the mayor says, the tragedy that happened in Barcelona. That only makes us tomorrow to be more vigilant about any attempts at anyone trying to do anything beyond this protest regarding terrorism. And so that's why we've asked again, if you can, do not bring backpacks. And if you're going to bring backpacks into either protest, you're going to be subject to you're going to be subject to being searched. We're also going to have wands out there looking for potential weapons in boat protests. So, we're going to be really working the crowd real closely, both with undercover as well as uniform officers. Again, I think we had that Women's March, 175,000, no issues. It was a great day for the city, and I hope tomorrow everyone who protests, and is marching is doing it for the right reason. We're aware that some people might have an agenda to basically try to disrupt, and those are the people we're really going to focus on. We know 99% of that march tomorrow is people who are coming for the right reason. It's that little percentage who want to cause problems that we're going to watch, and those are the undercovers. As minute as they see them, they'll take them out of there. I think I don't foresee any problems, but unfortunately, people like to take advantage, whether they come in from out of town or whatnot, and that's what we're concerned about, and that's what we're going to focus on.
Commissioner, what's the difference between the last march, the Women's March, and this one? Is there a big difference in the climate?
And I won't beat you guys up a little bit, but you're making this seem like a battle here, and I think you've ratcheted up that everyone thinks there's going to be this war tomorrow. We didn't have that. When we did the Women's March, it was about everyone coming together, no matter what their cause was. I think the frenzy over the last 6 days, and I'm not one to beat up, but this is like a showdown. The last time I seen this was when we gave the Occupy movement a midnight out of town. And, it was the countdown. I watched it. Please, this ain't going to be the battle here. I hope not. But I don't think, no one's helped this week. We didn't have that with other marches. The tension here created by everyone, and I don't see that, and I hope we don't get that. Tomorrow should be all about, what happened after the Boston Marathon, how the city came together to go against terrorism, to go against hate. We got to go against bigotry, against, the white supremacists. And that's what tomorrow should be about. All of us stand together. But unfortunately, I think there's going to be a few troublemakers here.
So there is no intelligence that there is a conflict or anything like that?
No,
Nothing?
and just so everyone knows, because of Barcelona, I know I've talked to Dan Bennett, the FBI. There's no threats to this march tomorrow.
Are the cameras already up in the area? Are they already?
Yeah, some of them are already up. They'll be up. Everything will be up by tonight.
What about reports that Ku Klux Klan might show up?
That's all. Again, that goes back to the commissioner's reporting. You can't make a statement like that unless you can confirm it. So there's been no talk of any Ku Klux Klanmen at all. You're actually the first time I've heard this. So I'd ask you to, before you report that, verify it.
Do you have any idea about how many people we're expecting to see tomorrow?
No, the Boston Globe said 20,000 people. Facebook says 9,000 people. It could be anywhere from 200 to probably, I don't know, whoever wants to come in town.
You guys are prepared for
Whatever.
as many people show
How
up?
many public safety personnel will you
We'll have
have?
over 500 police officers out there, and we'll have more available if something were to happen.
Commissioner,
We're gonna have at least a couple of hundred plus more if we need.
Commissioner, can you talk about the training? This is different than Occupy Boston and the women's rally. There are reports of two sides coming together. Can you talk about what training and tactics you'll be using?
No different than those tactics. When we did Occupy, we really had some contentious marches, and we had to separate crowds when they were trying to take over the expressways. There's nothing different. We didn't do any special training here that we haven't already been prepared for, and hopefully we don't need it. We went through Occupy marches. We went through Black Lives Matter marches. We've done Patriots parades. And Boston has really shown their pride and really acted responsible. And we don't anticipate anything different tomorrow. I just think the rhetoric has really brought this to a different level, and that's what we're worried about. I've never seen so many people almost looking for confrontation. And, we got to knock it down and remember what tomorrow is about. Tomorrow is about coming together against the hate and bigotry that we've seen, unfortunately, in this country over the last couple of weeks.
Mr. Mayor, I want to ask you,
Let me get Joe first.
The other day, Commissioner Evans, you said you were going to physically keep the separate crowds apart. How do you do that? Is there fencing? Is there barrier?
We do it again. When we do it, when the Patriots win the Super Bowl, we shut down Kenmore Square with barriers. We put the barriers in different places to keep the crowd apart from each other. And inside that barrier line, we'll have plenty of officers to make sure that, both sides don't get at each other. And, we've done it quite a bit. This isn't anything new for us. This is just another demonstration, again, that unfortunately has taken on a little bit of a life of its own because of the building tension. Again, we plan on handling this like any demonstration, and we plan on handling it on a very soft approach. You won't see the helmets and sticks out there, but we have officers in public order platoons who, if we need them, they'll be brought in if we have to move the crowd, or, we have projectiles start to be thrown at us. Now, I'm a little disturbed that I've seen posters around the city asking people to bring bottles and throw bottles at the protesters. That won't be tolerated. If the bottles start coming, if we have the cameras, we're going to have officers in the crowd, those people are going to be quickly arrested and brought to one of our district stations.
In riot gear or not?
Not out there originally. They'll be close by, ready to roll out and take the line if we need them. So we've had a lot of success with the soft approach. We're not about coming to battle the crowd. We're put in a difficult position. We shouldn't be the target of people's frustration tomorrow. I think, the target of people's frustration should be, that white supremacy, the hatred, the stuff that I think we all agree is disgusting. So, we should be showing unity against that tomorrow. That should be the target. We shouldn't be at each other's throats tomorrow. We should be about being one city, one state, one nation, all wanting the same thing, and that's peace and no violence.
Gathering on the common of free speech is a hate group.
How do we determine it? I mean, if you read any newspaper or watch any news thing, you guys have done a great job of covering that. I think that some of the history of what's going on. The other night on Dan Ray's show, Dan Ray took the organizer of this rally and cut him up on all the people he was bringing in to speak and going through the list of what they've done. So that's how it's been determined.
Speakers that they have on their list.
Yes.
An invitation for BLM, for Black Lives Matter, to speak as well at their event, trying to reemphasize that they are all about just free speech. So the organizers of the event invited the Black Lives Matter movement to send a speaker to the event to speak. So does that contradict the idea that it is a hate speech, or that? I mean, it sounds like they're trying to be inclusive.
No, I think that who invited them?
The rally organizers with the
Yeah, I don't know that. I didn't hear that. I mean, I know we heard that. That's something I don't know. I mean.
This is quite an effort between the city and the state. Any idea how much this is costing the city? And
No,
the state?
I mean, we'll be able to put that piece together at the very end and see what's going on. And I just want to just say really clear to the press. I mean, let's not dissect this to the point where, the free speech people invited Black Lives Matter to speak. Our job is to make sure people are safe tomorrow. Our job is to make sure that people that come into the city of Boston that want to express their free speech are safe tomorrow. Our job is to make sure that as the peace rally enters into Boston Common, that the folks that come in there feel safe, that we don't have an incident that happened like last week in Virginia. We want to make sure they have the opportunity to be able to be safe and be free. As the commissioner said, and all the public safety officials, if you're looking to start trouble, regardless who you are tomorrow, don't come to Boston. We don't want you here. You know, this free speech, so-called free speech rally, I mean, they've said some some of the people speaking have said some very hurtful things about the Jewish community, about the African American community, about a whole bunch of other communities. I don't want them here. Let me be clear, I do not want them here. If I could have not had them here with a permit, I absolutely would not have given them a permit if I didn't have to give them a permit. We don't need that type of rhetoric going on in Boston Common. We've come too far. As I said earlier, 3 gentlemen spoke from that bandstand they're going to be at tomorrow: Frederick Douglass, President Obama, and Martin Luther King Jr. Those messages were not of hate in a very different time. We don't need you know, a handful of people who think they're, you know, speaking on behalf of America, which they're not.
We'll talk about the timing to, we need Yorkie Way.
No, I'm not today. We're not going to get into that today. I mean, I mean, again, I don't mean to cut you. Well, there's plenty of time talking about that. I mean, you know, the owner of the Red Sox made it clear that he's willing to change the name, and then obviously the ability has to happen somewhere else. So there's going to be plenty of time for conversation about Yawkey Way.
Just tourism, can you talk a little bit about where should people go to enjoy the city on Saturday?
Come into Boston. I mean, I want people to come into Boston. I was watching, I think on Channel 7 last night, and there was a family from another part of the country, and they were like, oh, what do we do tomorrow? We want people to come into Boston. We're going to protect you. I mean, we'd ask you not to kind of wander into the Common during the hours of, you know, 12 to 3. But outside of that, enjoy Boston. I mean, we're going to have plenty of public safety out here. You know, I think, again, you know, for a handful of free speech people, they're causing a lot of aggravation and heartache in the city of Boston tomorrow by having to shut down, I think, the Swan Boats, in the first time in the history of that, shut down the Frog Pond, vendors not allowed in there. You know, duck boats are looking to divert their routes for 5 people to be able to spew hate. That's just an unfortunate circumstance, but we'll deal with it.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.